Hey everyone, Omnifas here. So today we are going to make a Hadouken. So this is the end product. We're going to start from scratch, and then we're not going to implement it yet. We're just going to do a particle effect today. So we're going to make this, and let's start. So first I'm going to just remove everything. And wait. Okay. Now we start a new particle effect as well. So first thing we need are particle systems. And inside it we need an emitter. So we are going to create a Hadouken like fireball. So we can select a texture. It's going to be, we're going to use one from Trail number 41. So this is an additive type texture, so this is additive. And then for the emitter, we'll just look at it. So it'll look something like this, flying out. But what we want to do is make it a ribbon trail. So they'll look like that. It's gonna look like a ribbon. It actually look like it's a fireball. So we're gonna make it stay still. And what we need to change is the duration. We're gonna make it 0. The emit rate 1. The loop, we just leave it at -1. Particle life, just quickly change this to 5. Or you can make it a fixed 5, but random 5 min and 5 max is just 5. And then you can change the velocity so it won't move to 0. And it should look. Actually, wait, keep it local and no expiration. You won't see it because it's a ribbon trail. So what we're going to do is create a missile very fast. And we're going to save this first. We're going to save this in our mod folder. So find your mod wherever it is. Open the one you just started. Open the particles, spells, I just put it there. And I'm going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call it Hadouken. And call it Hadouken. Save. And in here, we're going to reload the particles. Set the active one to our new one. And then it should come out and look like that. So in the particle settings, we're going to mess around with ribbon properties. So you can play around with it, give it less segments, more segments. I want it a little bigger because I know it's not going to be big enough. So what I'm going to do is in the layout, I'm going to add a monster. You see it's kind of small. So let's bring in a human model. Yeah, my grandma's watching TV right now. She can't hear, so the TV's on really loud. If you guys can pick it up, I'm sorry about that. Waiting for the monster to load. Okay, now move the missile up so that it'll match the height of the human. Yeah, it's about the heart area. I'm gonna notice that our fireball is kind of going too fast. I'm gonna slow it down a bit. 2, 3. Okay. Now it's kind of small, so what we're gonna do is we could either do it this way. We change the emitting size of it on launch. Like, let's make it 2. Actually not, it won't work that well. Oh yeah. You have to make it scalable. So true. It should come out bigger. I forgot to do that too. Not bad. Which is weird. Is it bigger? It is getting bigger, but it's doing it really weird. Let's not do it this way. So change this back to 0. And let's do it this way instead. Let's change scalable back to false. Oops. Let's make the length short, like 4. Increase the amount of segments to 12. Increase the width to 2.2. Save it. Reload so we get a nice little preview. And there we go. It's a little big, but the trail is a little long, so let's change this to 3. Trails are still a little too long. Let's make it 2. Save. Let's just be safe. Save. Reload. Let's look at it from a normal perspective. It looks big enough. So we have ourselves our trail. Now you can mess around with some effectors, like making it move like a sine wave. So use average. You add a force, like 1 force on the x-axis, 1 force on the z-axis, and then the wave frequency. You can make it. Sorry about that. I actually forgot to set my numpad number 9 to stop and start record. So there we go. Now we're going to save it and then reload it. And then there you go. It moves around a bit. Only the top, unfortunately. The trail itself doesn't really move, so that's kind of problematic. Kinda moves, but we'll just leave it there. And oh yes, set this fade ends to true so that it'll look more. It would look less like a cutoff. There you go. Yeah, there's something like flashing and all that stuff. We're not gonna worry about that. We're kind of block the top so that it won't. We can't see the top part that well. So what we're gonna do is add another particle effect within our emitter, and then we're gonna leave this on billboard. Change the texture to. Gotta find it. So it's inside a particle folder. Textures. Now I think it's in the glow folder. We're gonna pick a colored one, purple one. Okay. Look at it right now. So it's gonna pop up like that. Now you gotta change the render style. So there you go. We're going to change this so that it doesn't move. So same thing, emit duration to 0, the emit rate to 1, so it only shoots 1 out. The loop, we can set to 1, particle life, false, this. The particle lifetime is set to 5. Then for our, so same stuff, no expiration, keep it local, and change the velocity to 0. So there you go. So it's going to stay there like that. So we're going to save, and this will show it to you. So there you go, you have the fireball right there. It's on the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this one here a little bigger. We're going to scale it by 2.2. And then we're also going to add a color effector to it. We're going to make this color, we'll use a basic color. We're going to use this one for this one there. We're going to use the cyan for this one. Okay. And then we're also going to add a color effector to this one. I mean to the trail. Let me label them. So this is a trail. And this is the ball. So on the trail we have a color effector. We're going to make it slightly lighter to this one, on top of the one we selected for the ball. So we'll save. Let's look at it. Come on, there you go. Now you can't really see it from this. This is not how it's going to look like in the game because you don't have this angle. So I'm going to look at it from the top. So this is what it looks like from the top. So what we're going to do with the trail is we're going to move it a little bit, like say 0.3 on the z-axis. So there you go. Then we're going to save and then reload so we see what it looks like. So it's a little better. Now the trail isn't long enough so you can't really see it. You can't see the trail. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the trail a little bigger. So change the width of it. When we change the width, we change the length of it to like 4, and then save it and reload it again. And now we can see the trail. There we go. Now I know the 3.1, they kind of make the trail a little, it's kind of darker, but this one works good enough. We can see that there's a big ball of key energy around it, and then the center is the thing pushing it, the force or something like that. So what we're going to add to it is we're going to add a little lightning to it. So one more particle. We'll call this lightning. And it's not going to be a trail. We can make it a trail. Let's show it in a trail form for you. So it'll look like that. And we could keep the same settings as this one, like 4, 12, and 2.2. 4, 12, 2.2. Let's actually make it 3. Now one more thing is that some lightning effects have a texture, an animation, so you need to set the width and the height of the flipbook sheets. So the width, the height, how high is it? Is only one layer, and one column, or one row. The width, there's 4 rows, so 4, and we're going to select. We got to select our texture. It is in sequence. Most of these sequence ones are animated. So we're gonna pick Fine Lightning Red 4x1. Okay. Additive. Additive, not alpha. Then we're gonna add an emitter. It's exactly the same as everything else. Just duration 0. The rate, how many lightning bolts are on? Let's make 2. The loop, -1. Arc on life, let's make it 5 again. And then the velocity 0. And then, same as ever, no expiration and keep it local. So we're going to save and reload so you can see it. So that's what it looks like without the animation. So let's change the back to like 2.6. And let's also add a sine force to it. So you can just copy this one. And move it here. Spell sine. It's exactly the same. And then let's add another effector. The texture animation. Loops, use a random start location. And animation speed, let's make it like 15. And then save, reload. And it should be moving. So that's how it looks like. But you can shorten the lightning. Let's change the emit rate right here, just to 1. I don't think we need that much. So 1 is good enough. Okay. Save. Reload. And change the color of it, of course. We're not gonna keep it red. Now you can't really see the trail anymore, so we're gonna move this one to the forward. Like let's say like 0.5. There we go. Save it. Reload it. Let's see what it looks like. So we can also we gotta play around with it, see what's right, see what's wrong. You can make the width a little shorter, 1.5. Change the length to like 2. Just play around, see what looks nice. So there you go. You can make it a little longer. Add some segments to it. 15 segments. Segments will make it a little longer. It's like piece of the number of segments in the ribbon, but I don't really understand exactly what it means. Because there's not enough on the wiki to explain it. So there we have it. It actually looks very nice like this. It makes the trail a little more funky looking. But we can also move it back instead. Let's move it back like 1.2 or something. Then save. And see what it looks like. Because I kind of like that little sharp point at the front. Okay. That actually makes it look good, but we gotta make it a little smaller. Let's make the width like 1.2. Still kind of big. Let's make it 1. not point. I keep forgetting I can't use my numpad. So 0.9. This is a good take, so I don't want to start over again. Let's save. I hope I didn't accidentally press it F9 a while ago. Missed some parts. Still looks kind of big. Actually, I can live with this. Now I'm going to add a color effector to it. I'm going to choose a color for lightning. Lightning is kind of darkish. Maybe let's use dark one just to have a different color. And now we can really see it. Let's use lighter. There we go. There's a lightning on it. Let's go down to a perspective from the side. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Going to kind of like that. So this is actually pretty good. There's one thing you could do to add a little more depth to the particle. It's just to clone the trail. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna clone the trail. And then shrink it. I hate how it does that. This one is the color. And this one is sine. Okay. So for color, I'm gonna make it black. But I'm gonna make it smaller so that the width is gonna be half of that, so 1.1. Save, and then I'm gonna name this trail small. I'm gonna call it trail small, and then I'm gonna move it back a bit, just a bit, like 0.2 or something. Yeah, close enough. Save, reload. I should have a nice little black one there, or not. I'm not exactly sure. I think I gotta set. I'm not sure how to set the layering and all this stuff. There's not much to explain it. Mid bias maybe. Let's make it 1. Index. This is we're experimenting, trying to figure out what to do, what each function does. It's kind of hard to figure out. Let's change the color. Maybe black. Black is maybe treated like a transparency maybe. Let's use this blue here. Okay. Save it. Reload it. So I can't really see. So let's forget it. Can't really tell the difference, so you don't really need it. It's just a waste of processing power, waste of GPU, waste of resources basically. No big difference. Now, for example, speaking of resources, if you want to make these particles like based on quality settings, you can do that by using this setting right here. and change it to like medium or high. But then just, for example, this is what's gonna happen if you set it to like medium or high. You had low quality for the particles. You just gotta find the visible setting. There you go. This is what it'll look like if you set the quality to like low. I set the visible to false. I don't know what each setting does really. Is it sometimes they don't explain it good enough. Let me just try again. Save particles. Load it. It shouldn't show. I don't know what technique property means. Setting this property hides the particles. It didn't hide it. It hid it on this, but didn't hide it on that. So well, this is how you create a particle effect. So basically, if you want to create some kind of trail, like this trail right here, you use the what is it? The ribbon trail render type, and then do exactly the same as you would for the ball, and make it so it doesn't move, meaning there's no velocity. Make it so that it only emits like 1, and then this is what it'll be like. Make it so that just make the emitter so that it doesn't go flying over the place, basically changing the velocity to like 0, which basically stays still. That's how you basically create a projectile, and then the rest of it is just stacking a bunch of particle systems into a single particle. For example, if we wanted to add some rays to it, we can. Just add a particle, an emitter inside a particle. We'll just name it ray. Select the texture in the rays. Let's use the one from the previous tutorial, ray 17. And then render style, additive. So right now it's flying over the place again. Let's change the scale a bit, make it a little bigger. 2. Chance to is always 100. No delay. Duration 0. Rate 3. Loop 1. Life 10. Velocity 0. And no expiration, and keep your logo true. Then add a rotate to it, texture rotate, setting the speed to some random speed, random, -60 to 60. Starting rotation, add a fixed, random from 0 to 360. Did I press numpad 9 by accident? No, I didn't. I didn't use anything from 90 in it, so okay. There we go. Now it's rotating. Save it. Then reload it, and it should go around spinning. There you go. Now it's shiny. So basically, if you want to make a projectile, it's just making sure that the particle doesn't move. If you set a velocity to something like 1, it's going to spray upward. If you set it to 0, it's going to stay still. Emit rate basically decides how many of the particle do you want on the screen. So I set 3 for the rays, so basically there's 3 rays on the current spinning rotating one. And I think from experimenting, setting the emit properties, setting the keep local do true, we'll keep it so that it will follow. But right now I'm going to just set it to false. Let's just show you. Save it, reload it, and there you go. It does not move the rays. So setting it to true will make it follow with the movement, the velocity of the missile. And there we go. There you go. So this is basically how you create projectile-based particle effects. All you do is just stack a bunch of things and make it look more beautiful. For example, you could add one more particle system, add a kind of spinning effect around the particle effect. But we're not going to do that. It'll make it too long. Now you guys can figure it out. It's mainly just changing some like render types to like billboard. We'll make it kind of look like it's a billboard facing upward towards the camera. Sphere. I tried sphere to try and make it look like it's going to spin around something, but it doesn't seem to move with the particle effect. It stays where it is, so that's one problem I had with it. I couldn't figure out how to make it so it'll follow. You want to make a ribbon, a trail type of thing, you use the ribbon trail, and you just mess around with the ribbon properties and decide your desired length and other stuff. So that's basically how you do it. And basically how they did was like, well, Torchlight 2 doesn't have it. Torchlight 1's Ember Lance is basically messing around with ribbon properties, making it longer, and then it's constantly being fired. It's basically a continued stream of particle effects. And so that's how they do like a, if you want to make some type of like the versus series of Super Hadouken, that's how you do a versus series Super Hadouken. You just basically stacking a bunch of particle effects on top of each other, but then that's it. So that's how you create a particle effect. So next tutorial we're going to continue on with the main series, and we're going to use these particle effects to create our projectile scale. So see you guys next time.